Doctor, is this actually a good thing?
Well, it certainly can be a good thing because I think people were posting to impress, and I think it was also causing some problems interpersonally or at work. If you post your opinions, it can come back to bite you. And a lot of trial and error. People were noticing that they weren't feeling as good about themselves either posting or just seeing that it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. What they imagined it would be, showing themselves and getting good feedback, they weren't exactly getting that.
Lance, this can't be good for the social media companies. This sort of reminds me of when the stats started coming out on Twitter a couple of years ago, where it turned out like 3% of Twitter users were generating 90% of the content.
Right.
That's not exact, but it was something like that. Can these social media platforms survive if people don't post, if it's just influencers?
No, they can't survive if those are the only people they're posting. But they're trying to diversify right now. They're trying to offer smaller experiences. One of the things that Facebook is doing is noticing a lot of people sharing things on direct message or messaging. In fact, they're all noticing that. So they're trying to expand that part of it. Because what people have started to realize is they want their social network to reflect their real life network, be smaller, more controlled, and not, be subject to the barrage of feedback they get for just posting a picture.
What do you think that the phenomenon of the influencer, has it essentially sort of, I don't know, elbowed out regular people to share their moments on social media?
I don't think so, but it could cause people to post less because they feel that it has to be a curated image or it has to look a certain way. And it impacts a person's self-esteem. If they're constantly looking at themselves and they're constantly posting and trying to get the right post, they can feel badly about themselves. And there's this compare and despair that goes on with posting and social media, constantly looking at others and seeing if we're measuring up. And I think people are realizing, I don't want to feel badly about myself. Maybe if I don't post as much, that's the answer.
Lance, I want to put a graphic up on the screen for our viewers here. This is a time long ago when you may remember some of these here, MySpace and Friendster, Vines, and to a lesser degree, Twitter, now X, Facebook. You wonder how many people are using those still to this day. Not as popular as they once were. Is there a shelf life for social media, and essentially that's what we're seeing now? I feel like when we communicate with our phone, whether it be emojis or memes, I mean, everything seems to have a shelf life, and then it sort of goes out of style. And I just wonder if that's what's happening with social media now. Until the next one.
Right. Social media is still so new, really. It hasn't been around. So we just had the 20-year anniversary of Facebook, right? So that's the longest existing one. And many have come and gone in between that. But we really don't understand exactly what the life cycle of all these things are. But what I will say is that when you look at the people, the Gen Z, people who've kind of said they've taken a step back, well, they've also taken a step forward toward TikTok, which is the biggest social network at the moment and currently on sort of a growth cycle, right? That's where they're getting all their information. But every time a younger generation comes in, they don't want to be where their parents are. And so they kind of shift to the next thing. So I don't think it's the end of social media, but there are a lot of changes coming. And one of the things you have to keep an eye on is regulation, because I think that's going to steer the future of social media.
Doctor, finally, I would think if people are spending less time on social media or they're posting less, maybe they're interacting with real people more, and that might be better.
Absolutely. There's an appreciation of privacy, too. We want to have private lives, and we want to interact in a more meaningful way. The superficial interaction is no longer making us happy or feeling fulfilled. So people are spending more time calling each other, texting each other, and spending quality time face-to-face, and that's a good thing.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining here. We guys appreciate that.